kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the got restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
From the Milwaukee Mile, the Operation Valor INvets Truck Series is ready to get it on right here in America's heartland. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal alongside my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brock-Ellis. We're going to bring a little Northeast flavor to this Midwest mayhem here tonight on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We've got a busy night here as 100 laps of the scheduled distance are what these drivers are going to show us tonight. We want to thank you for joining us as always, because we'll be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. Jordan, as always, it's great when the two of us get a chance to hang out together, and every Sunday and Monday right now, I'm looking forward to more and more, especially as now steam has picked up in this league as we get ready to rock and roll here at the Milwaukee Mile. And Jordan, as of course everybody knows, this week there was a pretty big update, well, at least many people know, there was a pretty big update in the Windows world. Jordan, what do you got?
I got you.
There he is.
Oh man, I had a perfect opener and everything, and
Bring us in. Let us know what you got.
well, I was gonna say there's nothing better than me and you. I mean, it's like peanut butter and jelly, and or icing on an oatmeal cookie. It's perfect. It's the dynamic duo in my opinion, and this series has been phenomenal to watch and follow, and I think this is going to be no other story here. Is it's going to be bumpy and to see some cars bouncing around, or trucks that is, bouncing around tonight, and maybe see a little bit of bumping and bumping and running here. Just it's hard to pass, man.
Yeah, this is one of those racetracks that, I mean, especially watching them here in the trucks, I mean, I find so special, especially because of, just exactly what you said. It's hard to pass. This is not an easy place to boogie around as we get ready to rock and roll here. Qualifying getting ready to be underway. Drivers during practice were laying down about 30-second laps, and, that was about the fastest that we had in practice, as looks like Alex McQueen and Big Duke are going to get out there and start laying their laps down. Travis Bieber has yet to come out, and, the INvets Truck Series coming here for the first time. Last week, the series visited 3 short tracks, with David Duke winning 2 out of 3, Dover for week 3, and Richmond in the round of 12 elimination race. Richmond was a must-win after Duke had to request a waiver to the previous week, and he was strapped in and ready. He dominated all 106 laps of that, 2 green-white checkers to advance to the round of 8. So this was this time was buried in a little bit more. Of course, we want to thank our and I see anonymous. That's interesting. Anyway, of course, we want to tip our caps to Race Control, Eddie Smith, who's going to be next door to us in the Race Control booth, and, of course, our good friend Daniel Craigkeel, who is the series director here. And, of course, Goat Locker Racing is more than just a racing league, as we want to welcome everybody in. As the Allen Experience checks in with us. Hiya, fella. Love you, miss you, and sometimes mean it. But, for starters, these drivers here now, here we are in week number 3, and we haven't posted any points yet, and that's because of the drop weeks. Because of the way that the scheduling works and the iRacing point system works, it's actually more simple for the admins to get those points posted after week number 3. That way there's those 2 drop weeks that are built in, and then week 3. So that way each of the drivers has a fair shot. As it looks like Joseph McWhorter just went fast time. Speaking of fair shot, 30.26 seconds in a fixed setup against David Duke, who laid down a 30.34. So basically more than a tenth faster.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be all about being able to carry that speed out front. That's going to be the thing, is carrying speed like that out front, and keeping that track position, keeping that lead, and kind of keeping your rear bumper away from somebody's front bumper, and that's going to be a lot easier said than done.
A lot of passing going to be on the high side tonight. That seems to be almost the only way some of these drivers are going to be able to boogie around this place. And the way that that has to get done here is going to be a lot of throttle control. Now, as we look here from high above the racetrack, you can see down in that turns 1 and 2 area there, as we get that graphic out of the way, we see down here in turns 1 and 2, that dark line, that's all rubbered in, that's all gripped up, so there's plenty of grip down there. But you notice there's no lane underneath that.
No, certainly not. And I mean, you're going to see people probably kind of grab a little bit of the apron. There's nothing that's going to be out of play here for some of these guys. You're going to see somebody try to run that outside line too. As you know, it's going to, like we said, it's going to be hard to pass, so they're going to have to find any kind of space that they can get by, and you don't want to go too high up because you see all those marbles way up in the high side of that track. But you're going to see somebody try to have some little bit of gumption to go up to the high side, and it may or may not work, later on in this race.
It's something we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the evening. Of course, we're here thanks to our good friends over at Goat Locker Racing. We want to thank them for bringing us together here as we think that we've got most of the graphical issues that we've had the last couple of weeks fixed. So we want to thank everybody for working through that with us, and we apologize for basically the ugly production as it seemed to be. As basically we just had some CPU issues and, of course, secret things running in the background that nobody knew about. So we want to thank everybody for their patience working through that with us as we get ready to go here. And Goat Locker Racing, of course, works with, it's a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, and they work with veterans who are transitioning from military active duty to back to civilian life. And of course, they also work with guys who have some issues there, with mental health, and of course, a huge focus on making sure that, these men and women who come home from serving have a place to be, have a community. And that's what Goat Locker Racing really has shown itself to be. It's not just a racing league. It's not just a bunch of guys and gals with racing simulators. It's a community, and it's really a community within the iRacing community that I think we should be really proud of what they do. And of course, we want to say thank you for your service. As these drivers, we also want to thank for getting qualified complete. And off we go tonight. Jake Sylvia going to be our pole sitter of the evening. We'll get a little highlight of him momentarily. But Jake Sylvia is going to sit alongside Joseph McWhirter on the front row. Matthew Hott and Big Duke going to be there in row number 2. Lucas Lyons and Jeremiah Holt in row number 3, while row 4 is going to feature Brandon Wallace and Andrew Player. We look deeper back in the field. Here is Barrett Morton and Jamie Libke. Jamie in the car waiting for Barrett to hop in there on the inside of row number 5, while Travis Bieber and Kevin Price going to sit side by side in row number 6. We look beyond that as we try to get that to scroll over. And row 7 is going to be Jesse Whittington and James Kaufman. Michael McCarthy and Skylar Daly going to be in row 8, while row 9 features Alex McQueen and Charles Albert. Ricky Six Jr. and Sean Pope McCarthy holding things together in row number 10, while row 11 starting shotgun on the field tonight, going to feature Keith Haney and Doug Ellingson. 22 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight, with Jake Sylvia, our pole sitter. Of course, we want to thank our friends over at Jam Printing and Promotions for sponsoring our pole award for the evening, as we take a look here at Jake Sylvia from Middletown, Rhode Island. And I got to be honest, I have never been to Middletown, Rhode Island. I guess now I need to add that to our travel hopes. As it has been called for a road trip as we get underway here. But we want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions for supporting us week after week here in the GLR series. Of course, out of Plainfield, Indiana, they are local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, You name it, Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. And they, of course, sponsor the Pole Award across all of GLR's series all season long. So we thank them, of course. As we get ready to go green flag racing, we want to thank all of our sponsors and all of our drivers for checking in. As the iRacing.com pace truck leads us into turns 3 and 4, we see Jake Sylvia with control of the field down here on the low side. In the Donate Life Toyota Tundra, right alongside McWhorter's Chevrolet Silverado, the iRacing.com pace truck comes out of turn 4 looking for the hard left turn. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor to adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Let's see what happened here with James Kaufman potentially. As Kaufman in the 10 machine with that X all over the side. Let's see what happened here. He looks to the high side. Oh! It may have started with the 18. That's Andrew Player. All right. Although that it's not really a thing that we want to be experimenting with. First wreck, and finally things go well for our graphics. The 18 was a little loose coming in and just started rotating, boom. As we're going to get a chance to look at this from Kaufman's perspective one more time. Here we go from James Kaufman's roof. And there was no place to go. The rear end of the 18 came around, and boom went the proverbial dynamite.
We're going to have to watch for... that's what we're going to have to watch for all night until that top line gets, worked in. Going to be loose up there, and you're going to see guys just kind of snap around like that, and it's hard to catch slides. It's going to be a tough thing to do, and you just got to kind of drive with a little bit more finesse.
Well, finesse is the name of the game here, and of course, what we deal with on a weekly basis all across the iRacing community is, some guys, especially on that first lap. It's the cold tire bug. It's more contagious than COVID, and twice as dangerous when you're in real life. Thank goodness we're here in the sim world. But that cold tire bug, plain and simple, is just horrific. Especially when you think that you've got all this grip, you get in there, and next thing you know, it's like I don't got it.
Oh, 100%. You get into that corner, you get into you kind of drive into the corner, and you think you're sticking, and then as soon as you get back to that throttle, you realize just how, slightly out of whack your grip was for you, and send yourself around. I can tell you I do it just about every single time I'm in a truck, really any kind of car, with my skill level.
I don't have a skill level for driving anymore. I put the wheel away with like a 1600 I rating.
Yeah, if we're talking road racing where I spin the most, that's about a 600, bud. So that pace truck's going to make that hard left turn, probably the hardest left turn we'll see all season, as Jake Sylvia is going to take off, and Joseph McWhorter is going to possibly fall in line here. And right before that caution came out, McWhorter ended up to the inside there, but Sylvia gets away a little bit better this time on this restart here.
Ironically, James Kaufman technically laid down fast time that previous lap at 39.01, and he was involved in the wreck. Thank goodness for fast repairs and small miracles.
Yeah, fast repairs saved me with every little thing, every opportunity that I'm given to have one. Well, after that first But that,
Jake Sylvia lays down fast time at 31 flat as he's got the one truck in P1 going down the front stretch is Sylvia. He's being chased right now by Joseph McWhorter. As we go on board with McWhorter out of St. Robert, he gets a little loose coming out of 2, and he's going to have to try to wind this thing up. You can hear him going down into 3rd gear. There he is. As we look that up, yeah, we can see that he's shifting down into 3rd. He rolls out of 4. He's using 3rd gear to get that good fire off of turn exit out of 4. And basically a little bit of a higher RPM to keep it from getting too loose and keep it, cranked up to keep him tight.
yeah, Sylvia, last time around, he was right on that apron, but a little higher through 1 and 2. You can see here he's going to touch that apron, and you can kind of see that car step out just a touch.
We look further back in the field at Travis Bieber out of Ole, Pennsylvania, representing the 610 in Eastern Berks, PA, as he's chasing down the number 73. That's Jeremiah Holt. Now, Holt looks out the rear end here, and all he's going to be able to see is a whole bunch of Travis Bieber as we rotate that camera over. There's Bieber to the inside and just gets a run here. And he's able to just work his way right around Holt. As we're here on lap number 10 of 100, we're starting to click him off nice and easy now after that first caution brought out a few moments ago. But, here we are. Of course, there were a pair of cautions. And now, once you get those jitters and some of those yips out of the way, you're really able to find yourself a nice groove, get in here and get it done. Couple of penalties carried over from Charlotte. Mark Cofield has an EOL for an unsafe rejoin on lap 7 last week at Charlotte. Now, I know that he's not out there on the racetrack. Craig Keel the same way. He has a failure to maintain pace speed on a restart, causing damage, getting all bundled up. And Mark Hollifield got an EOL for causing cautions in consecutive races, which is interesting if you really think about it. None of those 3 drivers out here tonight. And then, of course, David Duke had to start from the pits for aggressive, Big Duke, start from the pits for aggressive blocking and forcing a driver to the apron from 3 to 2 laps to go. So league rules allow blocking on the last lap only. All other blocking is subject to penalty. Duke retains the win bonus and playoff eligibility. So Duke, after starting, after being told to start from the pits, up to 14th position. Jake Sylvia and Joseph McWhorter chasing each other down the front stretch. Let's take a peek back here at Alex McQueen as he's going after Jamie Libke. Now, Libke here, as he looks from the rear, kind of thinks he's got it going on here as the Phoenix, Arizona native is getting harassed from the inside by McQueen. I don't think that's the shoe McQueen. And this just in from race director Daniel Craighill. Of course, this was while I was reading without reading. David Duke did start from the pits due to the penalty from last week. The other drivers who have outstanding penalties will serve the next race they start. So, of course, Craighill, because he's working, not able to race tonight. So, he's not going to serve that penalty tonight, obviously. But, of course, we want to thank everybody at Goat Locker Racing for just being incredible. Especially as far as organization, and folks, if you're looking for, a place to donate your money, if you are fortunate enough to have something to spare, Go Locker Racing is absolutely the perfect place for it. These guys have just been incredible since the drop of the green flag on our relationship. And quite frankly, our relationship wouldn't be possible without our friends over and above the yellow line in 2021 above the yellow line. Whoa, hold on. Let's talk about that in just a moment. Let's watch Kevin Price go at it here with the 78 of Big Duke as Duke slides around Price in that fire department gold-leafed lettered machine. And I can't see what that is. That SRM right there on the old deck lid. My man. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Sure is. There's our logo. We appreciate you. As we look from high above the racetrack, now it looks like Price is trying to run in here on Big Duke, but right now he's got his hands full with Jamie Libke from behind. A lot of these drivers have all gone single file, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It keeps the cautions down, the real estate nice and broad here. Once again, as I started to say, we want to thank Above the Yellow Line. In 2021, Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen began as a podcast fueled by a passion for motorsports and a desire to build community. What started as a simple idea has grown into something far beyond what she could have imagined. Through this journey, Taylor and her team have not only connected with passionate motorsports fans, but also formed connections with several inspiring content creators united by their love for the sport. That passion and collaboration led to the creation of ATYL Media, a dynamic team of motorsports content creators dedicated to producing motorsports content that's fresh, informative, and fun. At ATYL Media, they cover everything you love about motorsports, from F1 and IndyCar to NASCAR, short tracks, and even virtual racing here on the iRacing.com servers. They celebrate the sport's rich history, explore its exciting future, and enjoy every moment in between. This is Motorsports Media, your way. And of course, Go Talk Live is broadcast on ATYL Media, and we thank Taylor Kitchen, which, to be completely honest, folks, without Taylor, we would not be here tonight. She was somebody that helped form this relationship between Goat Locker Racing and, of course, Sim Racing Media. So we thank her for everything that she's done for us as we work here on lap number 21. I have to remember, these trucks are right now loaded with only 60% fuel as we go under caution. Second flag of the evening, so this could trigger some pit stops here. Let's see what happened with Michael McCarthy. McCarthy in the 3 has the 67 of the inside. Oh! He was hooked like a fish, and the 80 nearly catching it too. Oh my. Let's see if we can see that again. Watch the 67 just here, and you can pretty much see that this was a hook job. We're looking for some of that, as this is going to trigger green flag pit stop, caution pit stops wholesale. Jake Sylvia going to bring everybody pit side and lead the way. So we look on, looks like a nice Pierce fire engine sitting off there to the inside. And rolling off of pit road first was Charles Albert. Not sure what that's going to be all about. That'll be interesting. In fact, let's get a hold of driver of the number 78, Big Duke, down here on pit road, a little cockeyed as we wait for him to come off.
Boys.
Hey, Big Duke, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Oh, yeah, I got you loud and clear. How are we doing tonight?
Buddy, listen, we're doing good, but now you had to start from pit road after that penalty from last week. what's going to be the strategy? Because, I mean, you know, you're one of the strongest drivers in this league. You've got a lot of traffic to cut through.
Well, I was doing okay there until that little I don't know, little kerfuffle. I got it collected in it very, very late. I had made my way up to 12th. Now I'm back here in 18th. I had a little bit of damage, man. Just trying to manage the tires. There's a lot of downshifting. I don't really like doing that much. I like trying to not to abuse my tires. So I'm gonna try to be strong late.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes it's best just to manage it, and you know, sometimes you got to let some of the weeds get themselves out of the way, and then all of a sudden, you know, that cream can rise to the top. That's for sure. But
that's what they say. That's what they say.
It's a dirty, rotten communist lie. Just full send all the way. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one, boys. Here we go.
Man, good luck. As they get ready to be blown away here, we put him back down into his race chat with Charles Albert. That was Big Duke. As we go back, green flag racing here on lap number 24. Matthew Hott now your race leader, as he must have only taken a couple of tires. I mean, you know, his pit time was only 9.65 seconds to everybody else's 14, 15. So he may be looking at the two-tire strategy as he gets the number 20 F-150 up here to the top of the scoring pylon. Meanwhile, Jake Sylvia starts to look to the high side as the one, as he is all over the rear bumper of Joseph McWhirter in the 72. We look deeper back in the field, side by side, as the 67 of Keith Haney now starts to get ready to harass that rear bumper of Kevin Price. Keith Haney here in the 67 gets a good rotation, maybe a tight entry, gets that nose pointed to the inside, and here he goes to the inside now of Kevin Price. And he is just going to serve Kevin Price. Oh, no. We thought he was going to serve him lunch, but not so fast, my friend, says Kevin Price, as he's not ready to be put to bed early tonight, while Joseph McWhirter lays fast time down at 30.29 seconds.
Yeah, and right now those two tires seem to be possibly working for Hott right now, but he's certainly going to be under fire by McWhirter here shortly.
Tire wear is an interesting, you know, factor here at Milwaukee Mile. I mean, overall, you know, you've got a lot of pressure on those right sides, but this track is not banked that hard, so you wind up ripping the bejesus off of that right rear instead of that right front.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to how you'd run a New Hampshire. You know, New Hampshire, not really any kind of banking there whatsoever. New race leader, the 72 did run quickest time of a 30:27 last time around, so now the 20 certainly going to fall back to the third position here now.
A little bit of a bobble coming out of 2 and down the backstretch has McWhirter, but he's not fazed by that as we work here while he rolls out of turn number 4 back to the start-finish line. He's got this nice and under control for the time being as these trucks make their way down here toward turn 1. They cross in front of the start-finish line, and we stay green flag racing here on lap number 30.
Yeah, these two up here in the top two, they've definitely been the class of the field. Jeremiah Holt here now looking under the 80 of Kevin Price, and certainly looking to get back to where, you know, he started up towards the, you know, top 5, just outside the top 5, trying to get back to that position.
You might be wondering to yourself, who is Save 22? Well, Save 22 is a 501(c) organization, a C3 organization, dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. They support those who have served our nation and communities by listening to their stories and providing unwavering support, ensuring they are never alone or forgotten. Save 22's unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. And of course, they are the primary sponsor of Goat Talk Live, and we appreciate everything that, Save 22 does. And of course, GLR in the first place is a 501c3 organization, and I think it's incredible because, let's be honest and let's cut the politics out of it. Our veterans deserve everything that we can possibly give them to thank them for what they've done, yourself included. And for the things that we take for granted every day, man, the least we can do for them is support them, to love on them, and to let them know that they are not alone. Yourself included, sir.
Absolutely, and I feel that no matter how much we give, we can never give enough. So we should just continuously give, and just continuously look out for everyone around us, and veterans. I mean, they need our love and need our support.
Taking a look at Jeremiah Holt here in the 73. He runs in 11th position right now, with the 80 of Kevin Price holding him out of the top 10 for the time being. The Splash Auto Spa Chevrolet Silverado now running just about 0.2 of a second behind Price. But don't look now. Big Duke just got himself up into 12th, and now he's got his eyes on 11th. We're going to see some interesting work coming toward us here as Michael McCarthy was part of that last wreck that happened as we work on lap number 36. And I'm always impressed at what we see these drivers do. I mean, Jamie Libke, all of a sudden we've got a little battle breaking out here. James Kaufman, Jamie Libke, and Andrew Player in a battle for 13th position. Side by side goes Kaufman and Libke. Libke's got the edge here. We can see him working hard. Let's pull up that video feed. That's Jamie Libke there on the bottom. I'm 99% sure. My goodness, I'll never remember anybody.
Oh, big slide by the 10 right in front of him. He's going to have to cross him over.
Watch him working. He's working.
Yeah, this little group has been insane for the last couple of laps. I believe they were even 3 wide at one point coming down the front stretch. And, they're all over each other right now.
Hey, sometimes when you get into some of these, battles on the racetrack, a lot of times it's like your first time on prom night. Sometimes you're faced the wrong way. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 other people trying to get to where you're going. Eventually it's got to sort itself out. And we go under caution here on lap number 38. Jamie Libke going to stay here in 14th position.
Yeah, and Jamie was certainly working there, trying to get everything that he could get, but certainly was having a little bit of trouble getting through there.
Let's see what might have brought this out. This could be involving Doug Ellingson as we go back to the SRM replay. Now watch Ellingson here in the 58. All by his lonesome. Wow, he thought he was dirt track driving. Went to overcorrect, and here he goes, fishtailing like a son of a gun, right into the grass. And, of course, probably as soon as he came back out, pointed the wrong direction, that's when, the yellow flag was triggered.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he had that saved, and then he tried to get back to the gas, possibly, is my guess. Had it saved, maybe got back on the throttle, and it still kind of went around. Because once you kind of slow down in these things, he
had twice.
And that terminated the motor there.
That was the actual cause of the caution. He had terminal motor disease. After he had recovered on the backstretch, came back out and was being Whoa! That almost looked like a hardware failure.
Something of some sorts. I don't know if
something broke.
Yeah, that thing took off so hard to the right. I mean,
let's see what happens when we look at it from this perspective. And of course, now so much happens during a cycle. Let's look one more time here.
Oh, it looks like I don't know if it just it's like it kind of floated. Like
listen carefully to that engine. The engine was slowly giving up.
Yeah, it was weird how it happened. It was like he didn't enter the corner that fast. He didn't, he wasn't carrying a ton of speed. He'd already kind of, load up. And it was almost like it just kind of became, for some reason, came up off the track and just kind of, once he tried to catch the slide, once it caught the track, it took off to the right.
Yeah, in the way that the engine was slowly but surely giving up the ghost, it was almost like Buzz Lightyear. He wasn't flying; he was falling with style. As James Kaufman going to be, who brings us back to green. He was involved in the initial caution tonight, but of course, due to some good pit strategy, here he is leading the way. Kaufman getting a shove now from the 17. That's Lucas Lyons down into turn number 1, and off we go. Listen to these trucks roar. My God.
Sylvia said, "I'm making my own lane."
Yeah, let's try not
like
to
11 around in the back. We stay green for the time being, but Jake Sylvia said, "I'm going where I want." He's even grabbing the grass there.
Does that count as a pass in the grass?
I certainly would. I mean, if some part of him's in the grass, that's a pass in the grass, in my opinion. But this man is using everything and some.
Going on board now with Matthew Hott out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. He looks to the rear here. Oh, my. Hold on to your pants. He's just behind Lucas Lyons, and there is all of a sudden a 5-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, and that 20 is kind of stuck. As it looks like the 114 of Travis Bieber goes sliding down the front stretch here. Oh, they split him 3 wide. And we're not even halfway yet. Oh.
Oh, my.
Wow. You'd think we're at like Martinsville or Bristol with that. I mean, he gave him a little bit of a hey, I'm looking, I'm sniffing, I'm here, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing as we go up here and we bring it back. Now, we were watching this in real time, and the 20 really got the chrome horn out here to the inside of the 17. The 10 starts to creep in, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. And I mean, my goodness, that almost looked like the great Bennett Allen from, of course, Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series fame, and the 2022 Xfinity Series champion over there on Monday Night NASCAR. That was a Bennett Allen move if I ever saw one.
Yeah, and I mean, in all honesty, he's probably trying to set himself up to have a good run on the inside down the front stretch. And you don't ever know what the guy that's to your outside or inside is going to do. So maybe the 17 of Lucas Lyons had to have just a little bit of throttle blip, or even just pull back on the throttle just a touch. And the 20 is expecting him to still be getting back to the throttle fully, and that's when 2 cars go to one spot, and it's never a good ending.
2 cars cannot occupy the same place in the space-time continuum. We know that. We've seen people try to do it, and no one has succeeded yet.
Keyword, yet.
It's science, they said. You have to trust it because it's science.
Well,
now, I go sliding.
They love to test the limits of science as is.
I mean, they tested that the day they put me on the scale in the delivery room. Want to thank our friends here at INvets, of course. The operation, and we want to thank our friends at Operation Valor Racing. They're a race team with the goal of fielding a truck the next season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. They are veteran-based and focused on helping veterans all across the racing world. They're also heavily involved with many veteran nonprofit organizations to help raise awareness and funds. GLR is now partnered with Operation Valor, and they are the title sponsor of the Friday Truck Series, as well as our friends here at INvets, founded by veterans for veterans, and they aid in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And they, of course, are our title sponsor this evening as the iRacing.com pace truck dives on down pit road. Jake Sylvia takes the green flag, and we go back underway right here on lap number 48, just about halfway through this piece, Jordan, as these drivers are, I'll tell you what, they are really racing smart tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And I was going to point out there on that restart, Jesse Whittington of the 94 machine was all over the back bumper of McWhorter there and trying to push him through is where he got caution on the racetrack. But he was trying to push on through, and McWhorter said, no thank you, and dove to the inside there as soon as they passed that start-finish line.
Yeah, he said, I don't think so. James Kaufman here being involved in what may have brought this caution out. Let's take a peek and see what happened. Kaufman here in the 10 machine there on the high side. Oh! Noses into the 11. It looks like the 11 may have checked up. Something was going on ahead of them, though.
Poor Lucas Lyons back there from the earlier incident. Gets into that one now as well.
Let's see if we can find what may have happened there. Could have also, something may have involved Sean Pope McCarthy. And it looks like maybe the 11 and the 17 get together. The 10 just double tags everybody. I think the 10 hit everything but the brake.
I mean, there's always more things to hit, like the pace car.
That's true. Things happen. Not the end of the world. Mark
I still
Holfield's
think
going to get an EOL for hot. Kerry Christensen checking into the YouTube.com live chat. Folks, we want you to let us know what you're watching and who you're pulling for tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. I'm Dave Riegel, and he is Jordan Brockel. You're watching Goat Locker Racing, and you're watching the Operation Valor INvets Truck Series live here on Sunday night in prime time. Of course, Jordan and I are going to be together all season long here, and it does break my heart a little bit that this will be my first season without having any involvement in Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action since 2021.
Yeah, but now we have Goat Locker Racing, and I mean these guys they've been more than welcoming, open arms. Dave, I almost started singing to you. I almost pulled out a Creed song for you.
No, not tonight. No, that's after the race. It's after the race when we're snuggling and smoking in the dark.
But they've had wide open arms for us, and they continue to work with us on everything to put on the best possible broadcast here, while they give us the best possible racing that we see on this platform. It's a ton of fun, and I look forward to the entirety of this season.
You know what's better than smoking in the dark and cuddling? A handful of Swedish fish. It's healthier. Jake Sylvia going to bring us back to green flag racing, as Joseph McWhorter going to be on the outside. Matthew Hott, Jesse Whittington, Barrett Morton, Keith Haney, Brandon Wallace, Kevin Price, Big Duke, and Jeremiah Holt. That's going to be your top 10 as the iRacing.com pace car comes out of turn number 4. Barney's in the stand with the green flag in his hand. He waves it, and we are back underway at the Milwaukee Mile. Side by side they go into turn number 1 as Jesse Whittington looks here from the high side. One of our first peeks at the high side tonight from Denham Springs, Louisiana. He's a 29-year-old driver of the number 94 Chevrolet Silverado. He tucks himself in right behind the F-150 of Matthew Hott here on lap number 52. We're officially past the halfway point.
Yeah, he's working that high line, and the 20 kind of found a little bit of a spot to put himself in. But, I mean, Jesse's been pushing here these last few restarts here and been putting on a strong performance. And I look for him to, maybe get this thing a little dialed in on his entry and exits of these corners, and he's gonna be one to look out for towards the end of this thing.
And every driver has a potential right now, and some people, maybe looking at drivers who are 2 laps down, but hey, with watch the 80. Oh God, Kevin Price. Oh Jesus. Oh. We stay green flag racing in ways that I don't quite understand. Let's see if we can go back. We stay green flag racing. Let's see if we can go back to the replay. And, everybody was checking up behind the 80. Oh, my.
I tell you what, that 178's got some daggone good brakes there to come to almost a complete stop behind the 80. And not run him over.
Kevin Price opted to come down pit road.
I was going to say, it's not too often that you see a car sitting in the center of the track and somehow stay in the same lane and not run him over. Congrats to the 178 there, because with my skill level, or non-existent skill level, I certainly probably would have been about halfway through the 80 there.
Drag racing for the lead down the front stretch. Here they come into turn 1. Side by side goes Joseph McWhorter and Jake Sylvia as they run out here and come down the back chute. Here they are. It looks like McWhorter going to take over the lead for the time being, but watch the 94 of Jesse as Whittington now sneaking just behind Matthew Hott as it goes. McWhorter, Sylvia, Hott, Whittington, your top 4. Looks like Barrett Morton maybe giving a little bit of extra room as a bobble out of the 94. That's Jesse Whittington coming out of turn 4. Crosses the start-finish line. We're on lap number 57 of 100. You're watching Goat Locker Racing live on Sim Racing Media. We're going to step aside and pay some bills. It's been a minute since we took a breath right here on SRM. Thank you for tuning in and welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones. Make sure to check into the youtube.com live chat, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live here on SRM. And we thank you for being a part of your Sunday evening.
Thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. INvets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. INvets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about INvets, visit us at invets.org today.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile, live here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as you're watching Goat Locker Racing Truck Series action. Live here from America's Dairyland in Wisconsin. Jake Sylvia leads the way by almost 0.6 of a second now on lap number 63. Just about 2/3 of this race knocked out. Jesse Whittington is who is running in P2. We start to look back through the field. Matthew Hott, Barrett Morton, and look at this. Here we are. Barrett Morton goes side by side with Joseph McWhorter, who is our race leader just a few moments ago. Of course, after another caution here tonight, we look forward to seeing some more green flag action because these drivers are putting some really good runs together, Jordan.
Absolutely. I mean, we're flying through this race. I mean, we've only been racing for under an hour now, and I mean, we're already we're headed towards 3/4 of the way through this thing, and they're flying. I mean, like, absolutely flying, even with the caution. So, I mean, we've got everything ready, set up and ready to go. As you know, Jesse Whittington, as I had said earlier, is looking pretty daggone fast right now.
You know, I've said over the years that I think one of the things that makes iRacing special is because you can do so. Wow, watch the 72 just drive through the 94 of Jesse Whittington. He takes the rumble strip.
Oh, and you can see there some of that new, some of those new graphics iRacing put in, the dirt getting thrown up on the track. I don't know if you caught that yourself or not.
I did.
But someone had cut through the dirt there. It looks like maybe, I think it possibly the.
Whoa!
Whoa! They say it was Doug Ellingson grabbed some of that dirt there through turns 3 and 4 and threw it up on the track.
Well, you can see little bits and pieces of it coming up here on the windshield of the 72. Well, Doug Ellingson is going to need the Tide pen. As the race leaders were coming out of 2 and down the back chute, he was all kinds of loose as a goose, fishtailing around.
Yeah, that certainly was a terrifying sight, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll say. As we look here, a couple of drivers putting it on the hauler early tonight. Looks like right now not logging laps anymore is Sean Pope McCarthy, Michael McCarthy, and Ricky Sisk Jr. Doug Ellingson now down on pit road for what's I assume to be an extended period of time, while Joseph McWhorter and Jake Sylvia go to battle it out here. Let's take a look and see Jamie Libke looking to the inside of Andrew Player in the McConey setup shop, number 18 Ford F-150. And, of course, we want to recognize our friends over there at the McConey setup shop. And I'll tell you what, the guys over at McConey have always been really good. Even though they do have that entertainment side now, they've always been pretty good to us here at Sim Racing Media. And, of course, our friends here at Goat Locker Racing. They are the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the sponsor of the McConey Setup Shop C-Fix series on iRacing. They're the premier name in iRacing setup services and trusted by virtual and real-world professionals to get the job done. They're proud to continue to help thousands of iRacers hit the track with confidence, and they run at the front, and they encourage you to run at the front with their setups and learn from their setup guides and coaching options. Look good in victory lane with their paint schemes and bring your league and special events to life with their broadcasting, or trust their professionals for anything iRacing related to tackle. At McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories. They provide the setups for both the Premier Series, the Trucks, and the Cup Series here in GLR, and they also broadcast the Wednesday Next Gen Series under the Goat Locker Racing umbrella. So, of course, a big thank you to Jeff McConey. And I'll tell you what, I was a huge McConey user back during my early driving day. Well, during a good portion of my driving days. You know, especially as somebody like me who, you know, has a full-time job. I don't have time to sit there and tinker with a setup for an open setup league. So McConey just made it that much easier for me to come in, put the setup in the truck and see what happened. And most of the time I finished 21st because I'm awful.
Yeah, and I mean, I've kind of meandered over into the road side of things, and mind you, I am a very low split racer for road racing, but I could definitely tell the difference, you know, where I was running, the fixed setup while running against other people in open setups. Went ahead and grabbed myself a setup from the McConey Setup Shop, and I mean, I could significantly tell the difference where I was able to brake a little deeper in some corners that I wasn't, or, you know, get back to the throttle a lot sooner, and carry more speed. Certainly didn't help me finish further because I am terrible. Off track does not, being off track does not do well for your racing, but, you know, when I was actually being a good driver, I could certainly tell the difference was actually making up time, and it was it made everything even more enjoyable.
Yeah, you know, as somebody who just plain old does not have time to sit there and tinker week in and week out, you know, on setups and things like, because I was in a couple of, you know, open setup leagues, and it was just this side of impossible. Now we look here, speaking of impossible, let's look at Jamie Libke looking to the left rear quarter panel of Andrew Player, who sparked this discussion about setups, as he now starts to back off ever so gently. We see Matthew Hott getting ready to be pestered here by Brandon Wallace in the 99 and the Reaper Racing Chevrolet Silverado. Tell you what, those guys at Reaper are something special. Watch the skill here of Wallace in the 99. He brings himself up, and he's not going to try to pass you all at once, but he will wear you out. He's going to take away that ability for, you know, the 20 of Matthew Hott to come down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to take that section of the runaway, and all of a sudden, it's going to be a wrap. As, of course, we want to check in with our drivers over here on VDO. As we bring them up, you know, you can see just the sheer focus that these guys have. You know, for starters, I mean, you know, for you and I, Jordan, we know what it's like to sit behind the wheel and watch what's going on from that perspective. But, you know, the concentration, you can watch their eyes. They're not going, hey, look, here in the top window, I can see our feed there. Oh, wait, maybe that's not us. Nope, that could be the real race up there in the corner. But, hey, how you doing? Just a little wave there. As we work here with 24 laps to go, we're in the twilight.
Yeah, and to what you're saying, you know, watching, you know, through our eyes, we've been inside these cars. One thing I noticed I started doing that's actually kind of funny, you know, I start leaning to my left when I go into a corner, as if I'm on the baking myself. And I don't know when or why it started, but I'll be turning into, say, Daytona or something, and my head will go with my steering wheel. It's almost like wherever my steering wheel, my head goes. And it's probably looks comical if anyone were to sit there and watch me drive.
No, I'm with you. I mean, you know, there were times where I would get to the end and my whole body would be, you know, completely contorted. Now, the last time I ran in a league was, of course, actually the last time I raced was August 24th. I ran in Sunday Night NASCAR's Coke Zero 400 at Daytona, and after like 4 hours of being in the rig, especially after not having been in the rig for a year and a half, it was the most disorienting thing when I crawled out of there. I literally crawled out of the ring. I mean, fortunately, I lived alone, and, you know, nobody could see me just pathetically lay on the floor going, how did I do this every week for the last 2.5 years?
Yeah, I know sometimes I get out at a high bank track, I can definitely feel like the right side from like my hip up until like just under my armpit, where where your body kind of moves with the banking of the turn. I noticed that I was like, man, why is my side hurt? And that's when I started noticing that I like lean into the corner.
We have a battle right now for 2-lap down position. I realize that you don't think that sounds that great, but watch the double deuce of Skylar Daly and Alex McQueen. While you were talking, all of a sudden these two guys got close enough that all of a sudden they're battling it out for 15th position, 17th position. And, you know, ordinarily you don't think about it, but, you know, the fact that they were just side by side and still battling it out for what seems to be not a very important position shows you how hungry these guys are and how much they know that every position matters in this league.
Well, absolutely, because if you know, those guys are late in the season and they have a chance to, you know, be battling for a top spot in the points, you know, and if they lose by 1 or 2 points, they can look back at this and be like, man, if I just would have pushed a tad bit harder here, you know, and gotten around, you know, that guy that 1 week, that could make the difference in who wins a championship or who doesn't.
Well, and, you know, it's in these seasons now. You know, of course, we can take a look at the schedule moving forward, but it's in leagues like this and series like this where we understand how important every position, every point is. You know, I think some people may get a little bit lax as we move along every week, no matter where you are, no matter what group you're in. You know, especially as we work our way through here. But I mean, we're here at the Milwaukee Mile next week. Now, this week. Next week on Super Bowl Sunday, we're at Darlington. I don't even know how to feel about a race on Super Bowl Sunday. I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous to see how many drivers we're going to have attend the race.
Well, I can tell you I'm going to be doing double duty there. I'm going to be calling, and I'm going to be doing a little lean back to see if I can see that score as Gilbert's.
You couldn't resist, could you? Couldn't resist.
Dude,
couldn't
Eagles
keep your
fan.
mouth shut. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Eagles fan, you gotta say it. You go Birds.
You don't got it. Look, I was at a Philadelphia Wings game last night, just enjoying myself, minding my business.
Yes.
And
EAGLES, Eagles. Guarantee it was chanted.
The white guy that was the running back, one of your down roster players that scored a touchdown last week in the championship game.
Oh, Lord. Starts with an S. Wow. Oh, my gosh. I'm doing a disservice.
No, you're not. You're just proving my point that you didn't matter. But anyway, see what I did there? That's called hurt and sour grapes. But anyway, he was in attendance at last night's NLL matchup between the Philadelphia Wings and the Rochester Nighthawks. And, yes, they erupted in the chant.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a brotherhood. Go Birds.
Joseph McWhorter leading the way now by almost 8 seconds over Brandon Wallace. Now he's getting ready to start lapping Jake Sylvia, who's the next here on the menu. Now, just keep in mind, folks, not long ago, Jake Sylvia was our race leader. And, you know, through all of these laps that we've run tonight, 87 on the book at this point, you know, bad things happen, dumb things can happen on pit road, and we look at Jake Sylvia now, who went from leading this piece, and literally our pole sitter tonight is now in danger of going a lap down, as Joseph McWhorter, who sat on the outside of row 1, okay, is now leading this piece, with Brandon Wallace, who qualified in 7th, is in 2nd position. We have had a wild change of events here, and quite frankly, Jake Sylvia has never prayed this hard in his life for a caution.
Oh, absolutely not. And I mean, to extend your point a little bit, the number 67 machine of Keith Haney, he's up 18 positions in the third spot right now. So, I mean, yeah, everything can change in a moment's notice.
You know, and of course, we're looking forward to the start of the regular NASCAR season in a couple of weeks. You know, I believe it should be on the 16th of February, which I'm very excited about. We go from the NFL Super Bowl to NASCAR Super Bowl the following week. And, of course, all eyes going to be down in Daytona. Today was, of course, the real-life NASCAR Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Wow.
Well, still going, and it's
still going?
It's still going. Not even halfway yet.
Well, good. Then I'll have a little something to peek in on here. I generally try to pay as close of attention to what we're doing. But, of course...
110%.
I didn't have time. It's been a long day.
It's a Sunday. It's a lazy Sunday, and then you get on here and watch these things fly around here as Joseph McWhorter brings us to 10 to go here.
I don't know what lazy Sunday you speak of.
Oh, see, lazy Sundays every Sunday for me.
No.
I must have that lucky schedule, I guess.
Peeking in here at Bowman Gray. Are they ready to red flag it? I see a red dot on here. 9 laps to go. We're single digits here at the Milwaukee Mile. Joseph McWhorter leads Keith Haney now by 0.8 of a second. I see somebody blinking. And guess what? It's not us for a change up here in the booth.
Oh, we'll say 22.
That was the double deuce there of Skylar Daly.
Yeah, way up high, letting these guys fly by and do their own thing. So it looks like Keith Haney is now the guy that moved into the second place position. Looks like a couple of different guys coming down the pit, and some people must be short on fuel because I mean they're quick stops. I mean, 9 seconds, 7 seconds for 7 seconds for Jamie Libke, 6 seconds for both Jeremiah Holt and Charles Hubbard. So now it brings into question for me, does McWhorter, does he have to make that same kind of stop, or is he solid? Is he good? Is he golden? I mean, we've already seen once in the ARCA series at Miami, the leader going through 3 and 4, midway through that corner, he ran out of gas and ended up third out of that thing. So
well, yeah,
does he have enough?
You make an excellent point as, wow, the real life 24 just went for a ride around. McWhorter last came in on lap number 58, and I see Big Duke coming down, Jesse Whittington. I'm curious, I'm starting to see a couple of other drivers, flirting with the idea of coming down. Now, McWhorter, with a more than 8.5 second, oh, here comes Barrett Morton.
Yeah, so now I'm starting to wonder.
Andrew Player came in 8 laps earlier than Bieber, Wallace, Haney, and McWhorter, so he's definitely going to have to come in. Yeah, I mean, here we are 6 laps from the end, and it is going to be a splash and go segment.
And, we saw
5.32 seconds for Barrett Morton.
Silvio was one of those guys that, made that jump first. And, does he have enough? And with his being about a 9-second stop, I'm almost wondering if he maybe even took, right side tires on that stop. And, maybe able to push a little harder than some of these guys just getting a splash and go. So, is McWhorter, if he does have to come down, does him staying out longer mean a better result here for Silvio?
Well, now Silvia came down here on lap 83. We're 4 laps to go. Joseph McWhorter, our race leader, 8.6 ahead of Keith Haney. Jake Silvia on the recovery drive up to 9th position now. No longer in danger of going down a lap as he was moments ago from Joseph McWhorter. Now McWhorter has the 72 cranked up. We're 4 laps to go. Get your calculators out. You know what? I got to know. Let's tune in down here. No, he is not coasting you.
Oh, he's all go.
He may have it. Maybe he knows that he's got enough. maybe coming in on lap number 58, maybe everybody else a little bit nervous, a little gun shy, worried about the possibility of a green-white checker situation. You know, they came down, but it looks like most of the other drivers...
I think he's coming down.
Oh, no. 3 laps.
No, he wasn't. It just sounded maybe a different car that I heard in the echo that was slowing down a little bit more, but certainly had me going there for a moment.
2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are in the air. Joseph McWhorter coming around out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. He qualified on the front row as the pole sitter Jake Sylvia sits back in 8th position. Keith Haney is almost 9 seconds behind Joseph McWhorter, while Brandon Wallace runs in P3. Coming out of turn 4 and back onto the front stretch, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. In what seems to be record time tonight, the INvets Truck Series seems to have gotten it done better than almost anybody else I've ever seen here at the Milwaukee Mile. And Joseph Werder, the example of how to get it done and get it done right. Take your time. Don't make you do it twice. As he comes down into turn 3, rolls out of 4, puts his eyes on the checkered flag, and here we are. Joseph McWhorter, your winner here as the checkered flag flies over Milwaukee.
Certainly had enough there. Didn't coast. Didn't cruise at all. Just came down, got the checkered flag, and he's good. I almost wonder if he's out now or if he's just cruising. It makes you wonder.
He has to be as close as any human. He's babying it coming through here. That's not a... I don't think that's a victory lap. I think that's a... I just need to get it back to the front stretch lap.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like there ain't much left in that, if there is anything.
Nope, he's got about 3K on the RPMs.
I was trying to take a peek to see if it would even show us his fuel pressure or not.
There it is. Oh. Nope.
Nope, certainly has plenty to do a burnout here. Dekes us out a little bit and let her rip and burn down the house here.
Hey, if you're going to do it, make sure that you've got license to do it. When you're the race winner here at the Milwaukee Mile, you can do whatever you want.
110%, and he's doing it all right now.
As we're waiting for our top 3 to come in here to the broadcast booth, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and hanging out with us. Of course, we want to thank our good friends at INvets, founded by veterans for veterans, aiding and transitioning veterans to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And they, of course, are our title sponsor here on a Sunday night. We thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. As we're going to grab a hold of Joseph McWhorter. And Jordan, I believe you have Joseph with you now.
Oh, I even got back around him.
McWhorter, it's Jordan in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, brother. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this question. I mean, how good to the go were you with fuel there? Because, I mean, we started seeing people drop like flies, and, you know, we started to worry about you a little bit there. But, I mean, you come across and you do a burnout, you burn the house down, and you seem to have plenty there.
Yeah, we still had you could do about 45 laps on the tank, so we still had another about 3.5 laps left on fuel, even with downshifting. So we were pretty good. We knew what our number was if the caution came out within a certain amount, and that's why we did it when we did and came down to lap 58 when that caution came out. So we knew that we were going to be good by about 2 to 3 laps. So, yeah, we just played it smart. We had plenty of speed tonight. Put up a good fight with Silva. Even got back around him on old tires at one point. It just looked like he just wasn't very comfortable on exit, so we were able to take advantage of that. And when they didn't come down with 40 to go, I was really surprised. And we just took advantage of it and hoped that it stayed green and went off and won the race.
Yeah, certainly for a while there, you had like a 3 to 4 car, maybe even a little bit of a 5th car up there in that front, just mixing and matching, there for a while. And I mean, you prevail and find your way through. And I mean, take us through, just how that track really worked tonight. Because, we saw different people, sliding off corners, sliding through, corner entry. I mean, it seemed to be kind of low on grip out there all night.
Yeah, it was real slick on entry. If you overdrove it even just the slightest bit, it would slide you up the racetrack until you got into that lighter gray area. I mean, it was you really didn't want to get any higher than that darker gray, that patch on both sides. You could kind of split that seam where the light gray and the dark gray meet, and kind of help that rotate. You saw me do it a little bit. You saw Jake do it a little bit. But you didn't want to get all four up there. It just seemed like it didn't have any traction whatsoever. So, like, if you overdrove the corner by even just a nose more than what you did beforehand, you would slide up and get loose. So it kind of limited on the multi-groove racing. But I mean, it's a flat track. It's a mile. It's the same thing as New Hampshire. You really only see single car. You kind of have to set up how you make your moves and stuff on exit and getting runs. So. And that's what we had to do to take advantage of Jake tonight and get around him.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly you put on a show up there. You got out there, you ran away towards the end of this thing and held your own. And certainly there's got to be some people to thank for that performance tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want to thank my spotter and crew chief, Mark Whitley. He called a beautiful race tonight, making all the decisions on when to pit and stuff like that. And did a great job spotting and giving me information around me. So big shout out to him first and foremost. Driven Motorsports, my teammates, everybody at Driven Motorsports, big thank you to them. My new sponsor, 29 Graphics, made the beautiful paint scheme you got to see here tonight. First race with this truck and already in victory lane, so that's a good thing for them. Red Camel Racing, you can check them out at redcamelracing.com. Amazing partner of mine for the last couple of years. You can get any kind of race gear that you need, fire suits, gloves, shoes, helmets. They have it all. Check it out at redcamelracing.com. I also want to thank Outlier Speedco. Go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. Amazing setups, amazing groups over there. Johnny Avila and the boys build amazing setups each and every week. Been really fun getting back into the open setup stuff on official and going out there and winning some races and having fun. So again, that's Outlier Speedco. Go check them out. You guys for putting on the broadcast, all the admins for the hard work, clean racing by all the drivers. Little caution heavy there in the middle of the race, but honestly, I think it turned out we had a good long run at the beginning, good long run at the end. So good job to everybody on that one, and looking forward to wherever we are next week. I completely forgot the schedule again.
You'll be at Darlington.
Oh, that'll be good. I think we'll. I really enjoy that track, so hopefully we'll be up there battling for a win next week as well.
Yeah. So and possibly maybe we'll be talking to you next week, brother.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know with this league all that well. With me winning the race, does that put me in the championship or no? Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was a win in your in kind of thing since it's elimination style, so I was just curious. All right, boys. Well, you guys have a good one. Appreciate the show, and be looking forward to seeing you guys next week.
Absolutely, my friend. We thank you for your time, and that, of course, the voice of Joseph McWhorter. Next up here, as we were waiting for Keith Haney to hop on in, we haven't seen him yet. We're going to get a hold of Brandon Wallace out of Odessa. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, Dave. Gotcha.
Hey, man, listen, I mean, a good race run tonight. I mean, I always say that it's interesting when you hear somebody quietly, crawling through. You qualify 7th, you finish here on the podium, and you really just kind of hung out quietly, working your race and minding your business. Was that the strategy?
Yeah, that's never been really great there. Just always tried to hang on and survive, and so I did a little different this time and just tried to just stay in my line and not overdrive the truck and hopefully let it come to me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to let it come to you, and that's, exactly what you did tonight. Of course, a few cautions here and there, but nothing bad overall. Next week we head to Darlington, and, the Lady in Black is not near as forgiving as this track here. What's going to be the strategy at Darlington, or is that suddenly going to be the drop race?
No, it's almost the same. I mean, that's kind of that one-line track. It's very hard to pass. You've got to time them, or you just can't race people into the corners. It just doesn't work there. So you got to hope you got some help by friends, and they let you go when you're faster, and you let somebody go when they're faster, and that and survive till the end.
Yeah, surviving till the end is the name of the game for sure. Well, congratulations on the P3 finish tonight. Before we cut you loose, I have to know who helped you get it done here on the 99, and who do you need to give a little bit of recognition to tonight?
Well, thank you guys up in the broadcast booth. Always iRacing above the yellow line, Sim Motion, Daniel Coquille, all my Bandits teammates that helped me out, and man, you can't forget Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner. I mean, he's my buddy, so I gotta thank him.
All right, my brother. Well, listen, congratulations. Go ahead and take that P3 finish on home to Odessa. We thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week at the Lady in Black.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
That's the voice of Brandon Wallace, who finished third. And, folks, just as a little bit of an update, in what, at least for my money, is a technological miracle. Keith Haney, who finished second tonight, was racing from a hotel room and unfortunately can't get himself onto Discord for an interview. But we appreciate Keith Haney, and we'll try to get a hold of him next week from Darlington and try to talk to him a little bit about tonight's race if he's able to get online. So we appreciate that, as, of course, race director Daniel Craigkeel was here in the production ear letting me know. And we just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight as we get ready to turn our attention next week to a bunch of exciting activities, here on the racetrack and, of course, in the real world. The real world, speed weeks are going to be beginning down in Daytona. And without, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a certain football game going to be taking place in, someplace down in Louisiana. I think New Orleans, maybe a big dome. I think they call it the Super Bowl.
Go Birds.
Yeah, that's what I will never. The only thing the only time, you know what? I can't. But of course, and then the real life, in the real life, Speed Week's going to be kicking up, and we're going to be at the Lady in Black, Darlington, South Carolina. One final look at our results from tonight. Joseph McWhorter brings home the checkered flag. He is joined on the podium by Keith Haney and Brandon Wallace. Finishing fourth is Travis Bieber, and rounding out your top five is Andrew Player. Sixth goes to Lucas Lyons, with Jake Sylvia coming in seventh. Eighth position goes to James Kaufman, while Charles Albert and Jeremiah Holt round out your top 10. Kevin Price finishes 11th, with Matthew Hott and Barrett Morton in 11th and 12th and 13th, while Big David Duke finishes 14th, just ahead of Jamie Libke in 15th. Jesse Whittington and Alex McQueen finish 16th and 17th, while 18th goes to Skylar Daly. We look a little bit further back here beyond Skylar, and there's Doug Ellingson, Sean Pope McCarthy, Michael McCarthy, and Ricky Sisk Jr. making up the rest of your field tonight. Out of the 22 cars that took the green flag, looks like Ricky Sisk Jr. was the first to beat everybody to the beer stand tonight. Somebody had to do it. And tonight it happened to be Ricky. But, folks, we thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. Of course, hanging out with you every week has just become more and more fun. Tonight, no graphics problems. How about that? As we were finally able to get that worked out. I'm really excited. This really infuses a lot more, passion for me, because it's frustrating and it really takes the wind out of my sails when those dumb things happen. But I appreciate everybody's patience and the way that things went over the last few weeks, and we appreciate you sticking with us and checking in with us in the youtube.com live chat. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockel, we want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night as we get ready to see the Glove Station ARCA Series take the green flag right here on Sim Racing Media, and tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life. Please, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.